Hi guys, I am Mama Bear to Many. I am mom to 14, almost 15 children. I am due in October, and I am doing kind of an update video about our vehicles. So I said last week, I think it was, trying to think, it has been a crazy 2 weeks. Crazy. So all of our vehicles, yes, because it would have been not Sunday a couple days ago, but the Sunday before. Okay. So we have all three, in that video, I had said that all three vehicles are broken, and that is true. Some people were asking questions, and some people were making assumptions, and then some people were just curious. So I'm answering, I hope, all of those things. So yes, all three vehicles are broken. They still are. So our big van, it is a transmission issue. We were told that we should go to a transmission specialist, which is 2 hours away, in order to get it diagnosed, and we should not drive that vehicle unless we're driving it to that specialist, that we should not drive it at all. The reason that we had brought it in to begin with is when you are driving it and you go to push the gas, sometimes it decides that it wants to work, and sometimes it doesn't want to switch gears. So that is the issue, especially when going up hills. So second vehicle, truck, CV joint, and something with the brakes. That is in the shop right now. We live in really small towns, and so our mechanic currently, some people were away from Memorial Day weekend and that type of stuff, so currently he has quite a few jobs that he needs to do. Ours is on the list of to-dos. He said probably Thursday, which is tomorrow, so that would be super exciting if he can actually get it done tomorrow. So that is in the shop. It's not even at our house. The third vehicle that we have is the minivan, and so the minivan was broken, and we had got the brakes repaired, and we had done all 4 brakes, and then right afterwards it started smoking on the left rear tire. So we brought it back to him, and he says it could be something sticking, but it's not sticking when I drive it. So there's nothing I can really do about it at this point. So he said, if it starts smoking, like if you're near, just like bring it right in and I'll like stop everything and take a quick look. So we said, okay, great. So it started smoking again, but that was on the way back from picking up that bowl. It started smoking really bad. It smoked off and on. My kids took it to a city, or not city, I guess a city, I don't know, took it to another town, which is like an hour away, to go play volleyball with their older brother and his wife, and it started smoking then, but by the time they got back to the house, it wasn't smoking. And he said it basically had to be doing it if like he were to look at it in order to get like a proper diagnosis on it. So we decided. So then when we went to get the bowl, it was smoking really bad on the way home. But that trip also goes up and down a lot of hills. We live coastal, but it's actually like kind of mountainous too. So most of the roads, we don't have like a highway. So most of the roads are up and down, around the corner, like that type of roads. So we had that vehicle. It was smoking by the time we got home, but I also needed to unload the bowl and all that type of stuff. So we had to do that. I was like, okay, maybe this is, I went and I looked like as it was doing it before I went to like help do that, and it looked like maybe like the tires on the back were really bad. So what we did was, the day that we dropped off the big van to get that diagnosed, so my husband drove the big van, I drove the minivan. He dropped off the big van, and then we took the minivan to town to Walmart and got the tires in the rear replaced. And we did that, so hoping that maybe it was a tire issue and not actually a brake issue. So we did that. We came back home. It seemed okay. We ended up picking up the big van because he said it was the transmission. He's not touching it. So we picked up the big van and brought that home. And then we dropped off the truck the same day that we picked up the big van, because we knew the truck was whatever, and it's been sitting there since. But my ABS light came on for my my minivan. So my son, who is married, he came over to bring some of the kids fishing last week. I can't even remember what day. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Brought the kids fishing, and he said, well, let me take a look at it. He took the tire off and he said, yeah, Mom, that brake's like cooked. It needs to go back in. So this is like right before the holiday weekend. And so called the mechanic. He said, I can't get it done until after I get your truck done. We're like, okay. And it's kind of like, well, you do have other brakes besides the one brake. So we also have obligations, right? So we pick up pig food, from the town, no, 2 towns over, I guess it's a city. It's 3,000 people or something like that. Anyway, I don't know what makes a city a city. So, we're like the smaller area. So we pick up pig food there twice a week, and the 2 twice a weeks were there. I didn't want my children. A lot of times my older girls would go pick up pig food. And I ended up doing those trips because I felt safer for me driving the van with the potential brake issue. And that is when I went. I'm saying this because there was some question. So at that point, when I drove there, I did grocery shopping because it's in the same town, and both of the yard sales were all of that was on the same day that I went to go pick up pig food. So we also had a camping trip planned. My husband had Memorial Day weekend off. I already paid for the whole trip. So we, in the meantime of all of this, we have been looking for a van, a big 15-passenger van. We found a van, and we actually found a van that was this is just amazing, right? Like, I feel like God had worked it out this way. So it was all the ones I was looking at were out of state, and the van that we looked at was in the same town that we were going camping. So what we ended up doing is we went to apply for the loan to see if we could even get a loan for that. And we weren't quite sure because the way we had taken, we didn't want a loan, but honestly, at this point, we need something that's reliable for our family, especially where we have, our doctors are so far away and there's medical conditions in our family. We felt that it was a necessity. So we decided we would take out the loan, and everyone can be like 50-50 on that, right? Because like we don't have a mortgage, and people don't really have a problem with somebody who does have a mortgage, but we just happen to have like vehicle payments instead of a mortgage. So just kind of swapped it around a little bit. It did not make financial sense after doing all the math and such for us to like remortgage the house and put like our debt onto that because of the interest rates and that type of stuff. It makes more sense for us to just take out a vehicle loan. So we got approved. Let me see. So Wednesday is when I first applied. No. Let's see. Monday is when I first applied. Not Memorial Day weekend Monday, but the other Monday, the one before that. I first applied for the loan, and then I called the next day, and they said, oh, our loan officers are at a conference for 2 days. So I was trying to get people during the 2 days, and nothing really happened during those 2 days, to be honest with you. But on the next day that they came back, they were able to do pretty much everything there. And by the following day, we were approved. So that would have been Thursday, we were approved. So we were approved on Thursday, and we were talking to the guy who we kind of explained the situation. The people that were selling the vehicle really wanted us they had another offer on it. And so they really wanted us to get all pre-approved and that type of stuff by Friday, and they would hold it for us by Friday. So we contacted them, we were all pre-approved, blah, blah, blah. So we were supposed to go, Friday was also my ultrasound appointment. So, we were trying to maybe go pick it up in the morning before my ultrasound. But what we were thinking was going to happen, or what our bank was thinking was going to happen, is they needed a payoff amount from the bank that they owe, right? Because they still are financing the vehicle that we have, and they needed a payoff amount so that the title would be released into our bank. So the title had to, all right, let me think of this. So the title obviously needs to get paid off in order to come to like your bank. So they needed something stating like the dollar amount of what needed to get paid to them. And then say it was, they needed, I don't know, 25,000, right? And then the remaining, they're asking 30,000. These aren't the numbers, but, and then they're asking 30,000. Basically what they would do is they would pay off the 25,000 and then they would write me a check for 5,000 and then I would hand that to the people that are selling it. So that is what we were trying to just wait for and do. And it didn't work out because their bank has not done what they needed to do in order to get that done. So, oh my goodness, we decided, we were thinking that we were going to be able to, and this is kind of how it looked, that we were going to be able to drive down to this location where we were camping, and then during that camping time be all set to pick up the big van. So we ended up taking our chances and we drove, one, the minivan with the funky brake, and two, the van with a bad transmission. So we went to Acadia National Park. If you have been there before, you know it is lots of uphills, downhills, uphill, downhills. So for Tuesday, we were supposed to go up Cadillac Mountain, and Monday we were just drove kind of, it's called the Park Loop. And we got off and we did a bunch of those activities. It was challenging, let me tell you. I was, every time we went to like go up, it was like, so we had to like put our four-ways on, kind of pull to the side a little bit, hope we made it up that hill. We kind of tried to make a joke of it, like the little engine that could, like, I think I can, I think I can. Two things about that trip is my son Pat's birthday was May 19th, and we buried him 2 years ago on his birthday. And so we kind of made like a pact that we would do something fun that we think that he would enjoy during that month. And this was the fun thing. So it was very meaningful. It wasn't just like, hey, we decided to go camping even though we had 2 broken vehicles. We're still trying to like make normal life and make memories for our children. So that's why we made that decision. So that's what we did. And that evening it was chilly. There was storm warnings. Actually that afternoon we went to go get gas and we realized that we drove by. Okay, so while we're at Thunder Hole, back up a little bit. While we're at Thunder Hole, the guy had come back. He was going on vacation, the guy who we were buying the van from, or the contact person from the school department. He was going on vacation. So he came back on Monday. He called and he was like, I'm back. Whenever you want to see it, whatever you want to do, I'll be here. So he gave us the address, but then we went to go get gas. One of the things also that's wrong with the big van is the electrical sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So sometimes we know how much gas we have and how fast we're going, and other times we don't. So it popped on and it said that we were rather low on gas. So we're like, let's go get gas. So we went to go get gas and realized that we drove by the van. So we're like, well, let's just pull in and see what it looks like. So we went and we pulled in, saw what it looked like from the outside. And we just called him. We noticed that it had a different state's inspection sticker. And we called and asked to see if that could be taken care of and that a main state sticker could get on before we actually purchased it. Now, during this whole time, that van actually, we had to get insurance on that van because they were ready for us to like make this transaction on Friday. So we had to get insurance on the vehicle. So it's been crazy. It's been really crazy. So I guess we're kind of in like this watch and wait. We decided that we wouldn't make it. I was seeing, I thought somebody was knocking on the door, but it was the wind like pulling it back and forth. So we were going to sleep. We had 2 nights actually at the campground. It was Monday and Tuesday. Sunday night into Monday and then Monday night into Tuesday. We got to see the van on Monday, and we knew that the van would not make it around that loop again. I mean, it was bad. So we knew for sure that it was not going to make it up Cadillac Mountain. If you've ever been up Cadillac Mountain, yeah, you're driving up a mountain. There's no way that we're going to be able to make it. It's like, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to make it up the mountain. We're just going to have to forgo that part of the trip. We live close enough. We're kind of like, okay, we can do that later in the year. One of the reasons we wanted to go up Cadillac Mountain is my son, who passed away, really enjoyed it. He felt like he was really close to God up there, right? Because we're so high up. It was somebody knocking. Okay, please don't do that. If you'd like to say hi, say hi. You can sit on my lap, but not funny faces, okay? So, apparently we're doing cheese. So, we decided to forgo that. The temperature was like 52, because it's right on the ocean. It was like 52, and it started raining, and there was like thunder and lightning warnings for that area. Storm surge, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so we decided, I asked my husband, I said, we're not going to be able to go up the mountain tomorrow. And he's probably not going to get the paperwork and stuff done until later in the day. And there's no place for us. It's supposed to be raining the next day. We were going to try to like hang out after we had to get out of the campground outside. And so we actually decided to come home early. So the van did make it back home by the skin of its teeth. I was going in front of him. Please, okay, I don't want you falling. So it is parked now. Thankfully, we all made it home safely, but that is how it went. It's just real life. I think that people used to have to do stuff like this, and we just kind of lost touch with those things that used to happen. I remember, like, my mother never had a vehicle growing up, or very rarely had a vehicle growing up, but I remember different things with, you know, my vehicles and stuff when I was younger. And like I remember like the engine smoking and being on the side of the road. Please don't. My grandmother, she had a CB radio, and she like was calling for help one day because she's broken down somewhere. And you know, it's not the best way to be, but we do have AAA. My son, who is married, his house is actually probably about like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes from the national park. So I had already spoke to him. He said, yeah, we would be happy to come and get you guys if you get stuck somewhere. So we were kind of in that situation. The big van wasn't really at an unsafe mode. It was kind of a, it's just going to die, right? Yeah. So we'd have to like put it in park and put it to the side of the road. Love you. So yeah, that is it. I'm just answering this because a couple people, in a minute, yes. Okay. A couple people had asked, or a couple people had also assumed that we had something that was working now, and we don't really. We're still hoping for that van. We're waiting for Banks to just get it through. Unfortunately, now my husband has to go back to work, so it kind of makes it a little bit trickier because I don't want one of my children driving an unsafe vehicle. So that's kind of, yeah, like when you're an experienced driver, you kind of know, like, I'm not saying that you always make it perfect, right? But you kind of know, okay, like if this starts to happen, maybe you need to do whatever. So that's kind of frustrating in that way. We also will need to pick up pig food on Thursday and Friday with the van that has the messed up brake. So I don't know, because somebody will need to go and pick that up, and this van is 2 hours away, so it'd be 4 hours there and back, a little over 2 hours. So anyway, we shall see how this all turns out, and hopefully it turns out okay. And yeah, so that's it. I know some of you have been here before, and yeah, it's part of life, isn't it? Good. So I hope you have a blessed day.
I hope you have a blessed day.
And we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Now you can push it.